following his brother inside. "There's eggs," I called. The bucket smelled of hay, the milk adrift with dirt and hair until I strained it, though I couldn't convince myself to even start. I thought of frost, of the snow coming. We had the last of the harvest to bring in and the cellar to fill with canning. A new wash house to frame if my brothers could get the lumber for a good price. Were Mother alive, she would have liked to see such a thing done. The door banged open at my back, and Ray hurried off without another word between us. Lee stopped to nudge me with the toe of his boot.
"Ray's in a mood."
"Ray's always in a mood."
Right,
Lee said with a wink. He put a knuckle to his ear.
"Esther didn't come out this morning."
"She must be in the pastures."
"She said she'd come to the smithy. Said she had something for me. Don't forget, she said. And I almost did. She forgot more, I guess."
Lee headed off, and I opened the door to the kitchen. Esther. She didn't forget anything. Inside, my sister Agnes stood over the stove, picking through the pan of eggs. I might have scolded her, but the kitchen table was empty, the chairs pushed close. I had left a stack of plates by the sink for our breakfasts. Half of them were stacked just the same, clean enough they shone. The sun was starting now at the horizon, and Agnes still wore her nightgown. "Why aren't you dressed?" Agnes's curls were matted from her sleep on the back porch, her refuge from her sisters in the warmer months. She looked like a child standing there, balancing on her toes. "I couldn't. Our room is locked." "It must be stuck again. Are you sure?" She pinched her gown to show me what I had already seen. "Where are your sisters?" "I don't know," she complained. "They're sleeping." I hurried to the foot of the stair, but the door at the top was closed. "Esther? Myrle?" I called. Agnes joined me in the hall with her plate. "At the table, Agnes." She made a face. "Go on up then," I said. "Wake them." "But the door." "Push harder." I went myself into the chill morning. Without the two girls at their chores, a half-dozen of our youngest steers would be out to pasture, their feed low, and both my brothers were off without knowing. Already the animals in the barn were restless, begging for attention. The potatoes in the garden were close to a freeze, 3 dozen or more tomato plants set to move to the cellar. In the distance, the Clark's chimney smoked, the glint of a lantern in the Elliott's barn. I drove the cows from the pasture, my arms heavy with buckets by the time I returned from the well. In their pen, the hogs clamored for feed, and I carried a pail of swill to them and turned the horses out into the growing warmth. Back in the house, the door at the top of the stairs was closed. When I put my ear to the wood, I heard nothing. When I tried the knob, it wouldn't turn. My baby sisters were huddled together in their beds, or so I imagined, and I felt old and dry and ever less a woman as my years went, and I remained unchanged except for the fraying of my hems. With Mother gone, I had tried my best, but our youngest were growing wild. They freed the animals from their pens, filled their pockets at the market without paying. For a month, Myrle had gone to bed without supper and in a teary state, and Esther had taken to spying at us from around corners, that mushroom cap of her hair short above her ears like a boy's. "Aren't you too old for games?" I asked her. "Aren't you too old?" she returned. Too quick for her own good, that one, and with a terrible imagination. Why, she could convince a person the devil himself knelt in front of the parlor fire, warming his hands. "Can't you open it?" I startled. Agnes waited behind me on the stairs. "What's wrong?" she said. "Go on, I'll take care of it. But borrow something of mine, we are late for the chickens." Agnes groaned and hurried off. I pushed at the door with my shoulder, and it gave an inch. Finally, I ran at it with my full weight. The frame popped, the wood cracking. Inside, the room was dark. What had Father taught us? Never make too much of something, lest that something make a fool of you instead. The smell of the girls hit me at once, earthy and sweet. Myrle's bed was empty, unmade, but Esther's was straight as a piece of wood. Against the far wall, Agnes's bed stood alone. Behind the door, a small wooden chair lay on its side, one of its legs broken.